are going to have to excuse the hair this morning. I had a bit of a late one last night and I'm now driving back home. I've got work, I've got to log on, do some work at home. So I thought I'd just jump on real quick while I'm driving back. I've got a spare, probably about another half an hour, 40 minutes left till I get home. Thought I'd drop on and talk to you a little bit about stimming. So what is stimming? Stimming can be anything from, visual stimming, staring, tactile, touch, feel, chewing, listening, sound, smell. One of the common myths with stimming is that it's, and it is commonly linked to people with autism and, ADHD and things like that. But it's one of these things that everybody does in one way or another. Everybody does it. Not just people with autism or ADHD. It can be used to self-soothe, which basically means, calms you down, relaxes you, takes your mind off things. And it can be something as simple as twitching your knee, under the desk like people do, like bouncing the knee up and down, to chewing fit. One of my, I'll tell you a little story, one of my cousins, and I don't think she'll ever see this, but because we don't really keep in touch or anything like that anymore, but one of the things that she used to do was when she'd eat a food, she'd like put it in her mouth and then like hum. So like, which was kind of annoying, I guess. I was only super young, but I remember it. My way of stimming, and I've had this since I was a baby. Like, I didn't even know it was called stimming until about a year ago. For the record, like I've said before, I'm no expert and I'm learning as I go. So the way that I stim is it's a sensory thing with me. So I like things, my battery's low. I like things between my fingers, cotton, certain types of cotton. Doesn't necessarily have to be cold, but I prefer it when it is cold and running down the middle of my fingers. Like, not things like silk or wool, cotton specifically, nylon, the bits. Also between my fingernails, under my fingernails. So I'll run my fingernails down like this, for example. Like the edge of this works. It's a bit of stimming right there. Or like this, between my fingers, running it up and down. And I've had that since I was a baby. Like, it just used to soothe me, especially at night time when I was in bed and I wanted to calm for bed, take my mind off of things that have happened in the day, or just generally relax me. Even if I'd had a good day, I'd just like the feeling, and it's one of those things that people just do. It's like, it's repetitive, it's not something that you do once and done. Stimming is something that you do repetitively. By definition, it's called self-stimulation or self-stimulating. It's like a self-stimulating method. I don't know, it's one of these topics that I wanted to jump on and talk to you a little bit about, because people stim in different ways, and I think there's a lack of understanding about it. There's a lack of probably acceptance in terms of some of the ways that people stim, because like I said, the one that my cousin used to do was like super annoying, humming while she chewed. But yeah, it's one of these things that I just thought, while I've got a spare 20 minutes, half an hour, I'd jump on, give you a little bit of information about, give you a little example of what I do to stim. If you stim, put it in the comments. Share away. How do you stim? What is your method of stimness, if that's a thing? I'm also aware, that there are various types of stimming out there, and some of them can be quite severe in terms of intervention. Some forms of stimming might need intervention, like, in severe cases such as picking, if it causes self-harm, for example, if you're picking your hair or like your skin or things like that, and it starts to get sore or bleed, and it can be quite quite distressing, I suppose, in terms of trying to find a fix. I've heard of severe stimming right down to, like, you know, in severe cases of things like autism, where they sit and headbutt walls, or a form of stimming would be to hit something constantly to de-stress or re-regulate. And you know, like I said, it can be quite distressing for parent, child, person that's doing it. But there is support out there. There is loads of support out there in terms of everything with regards to autism. There's loads of like online learning and reading. As always, I'll put the links to some of the support groups for the UK in the maybe national as well. I was thinking maybe not just the UK. Maybe I'll try and find something national. There's got to be, hasn't there? There's got to be something national. International, not national. What am I talking about? And I'll put the links in the description if you're interested. But yeah, there are some severe cases out there. Mine, super minor, sensory. I don't know whether Emily's got one, and to be honest with you. I know that when she gets told off, she likes to try and re-regulate by, I don't know, some people like flap their hands, don't they? Emily doesn't flap her hands, but what she does is she puts it, I'll show you in a second when I've passed this car. That was a big puddle. She does this when she's being told off, and you can tell that means she feels anxious, or she's worried or nervous, and that takes her mind off, not mind off things, but that's her way of sort of dealing with that situation at the time, I suppose. And it's these little things, these little stimming techniques that you've got to keep an eye on and, you know, be aware of if we're talking about parenting and children and child. Can't talk this morning. I'm seriously half asleep. You can tell by my eyes. I look a mess. Can't wait to get home. So what you'll find is when it becomes a problem and a concern, and you need to go and speak to somebody or get some sort of support in terms of the stimming because it's becoming like a health issue, whoever you talk to, I guess maybe a therapist, doctor, whoever it is, they'll try and swap that out for something that's healthier, more productive in terms of, you know, not causing any more health concerns. They'll try and, you know, figure out the triggers for it. And what happened to my voice then? Triggers for it. They'll try and find out things about it, and, you know, they'll try and replace it with something that's like healthier and more productive, basically. But yes, if it does become a problem or an issue, please go and get seen. Speak to a therapist or not a consultant, a doctor. Make an appointment. You know, don't sit on it just because you think it's normal. If it's hurting you, go and speak to somebody. Will be my message. Stimming is generally healthy. Like it's not just in autistic people, it's not just in, you know, ADHD, and it's in everyday self-soothing techniques, and, you know, anyone can do it. Like I said, it's generally linked to autism with people with neurodiverse brains. Is that the correct terminology? But yeah, generally healthy. It's one of the common myths about this is, you know, it's linked to everybody, not just people with additional needs and things like that. What I'll do is, as well, I'm sat in traffic at the minute, so I'm actually able to focus and you know, put a little bit of eye contact in here. But what I'll do is I will put some things like, I think there's like little process flows and pictorials and things like that I can add to this video, so I'll put them up here and down there, and maybe, well, there's not going to be any space over there, but I'll put some links in the comments, things like that, for support, what it looks like, and, you know, just for the general understanding of stimming, because it can be quite intense, I think. Some people do it a lot more than others. Some people do it to cope, just with everyday life and things that they're going through, thoughts. It soothes them. I've probably said a lot of this already, but I do feel like there's a lack of understanding around stimming, because it's been taken for granted for so long, like it's just something that people do. So I think there needs to be a general understanding about what stimming is, how it occurs, you know, what it can look like. I think maybe there's going to be, I was going to try and find a video, like a separate free video that I could maybe upload to YouTube to show you, you know, what stimming looks like, rather than hearing me gibbering on about it, about my understanding. Do you know what? I'm not, like I've said a million times, this is a learning curve for me. I didn't even know what stimming was until like a year ago. I didn't know it was called stimming. Like, I'm doing it now with my ear, stimming. Do you know what I mean? Like, while I'm talking, I didn't even know I was doing it. It's taken for granted. Yeah, I'll try. I'll have a look. I don't know whether I'll be able to find one. If not, this video might be a bit shorter than I intended, because as I said, I'm no expert. It's a learning curve for me, and I might be teaching your granny to suck eggs, because stimming is stimming. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing bad about it. It's generally healthy. It can be bad in some respects if you've got, say, severe neurological, I don't know what the terminology is. If you've got like additional needs where you are to the point of supporting someone, I don't even know what I'm saying. How do I say it? How do I say this? If it's intense, is what I'm trying to say. If it's an intense stim, if you're looking after someone with an intense stim, but even then, like maybe unhealthy stim, like headbutting a wall, picking your skin, scabs, scratching, pulling your hair out, things like that. I don't even know how to phrase it. I don't know if it's because I'm half asleep or it's because I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm trying to understand and learn. And I'm doing a lot of reading, a lot of videos on YouTube, and this is one of the things that I really wanted to talk about because it impacted me personally. Like I said, I stim, didn't know I was doing it, got told that that's what it was called, and now here we are. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly jump on. Sorry, I'm just concentrating. And talk about stimming. Hopefully I'm able to find some videos for you. I'll definitely put some pictorials up so you can see what stimming looks like, maybe give yourself a better understanding. Also, I guess, techniques in terms of how to cope with people that stim, maybe. There's general tactics, tic-tacs, there's general things like square breathing, calming down, regulating measures. Take yourself off for a walk, give yourself some space, things like that. But the main thing is, and I think the thing we've got to remember, we've all got to remember, is it's not a conscious thing that we do in terms of stimming. It's one of these things that, you know, people, like I said, just, it's in them. They do it to self-soothe, self-regulate. And a lot of the time people don't know they're doing it. So, you know, if it's annoying you, you could just say, you could just ask, say, why are you doing that? What's wrong? Give them a little bit of support, have a chat. If you're noticing it and picking up on it, then, you know, try and help rather than being selfish like I have in the past, where it's like, oh, just stop. Yeah, you do get to that point sometimes, but try and take a breather. Try and be a little bit more patient. You know, if you're dealing with someone that's got a stim, if you're the person with the stim and you're watching this, I'm going to assume that it's not a bad stim, it's a healthy stim. Don't worry about it, you know. It's one of those things people do. But yeah, as I say, I'll put up some pictorials. I'm repeating myself now, massively repeating myself. I think it's because I'm tired. I'm half asleep, but I needed to do this. I needed to put a video out because it's something, like I say, something I've done affects me. Stimming is something that there's not much of an understanding about, and I hope that the understanding comes with awareness, you know, like many things, if you're exposed to it. But yeah, anyway, I'll probably end the video here. It'll be a short one because I'm still learning about stimming. Don't really know much about it, but I just wanted to jump on and give you a quickie. I wanted to jump on and give you a quickie. That sounds so wrong, but there you go. That's where my head's at this morning. That's the level, I'm afraid. Anyway, I'm nearly home, and hope you all have a good day, whatever you're doing. Ciao for now. I'm gonna leave it there. I am gonna dip, bounce, skedaddle. I'm off skis because I need to get home and log on for work and be productive for the day. I just hate it when someone indicates and doesn't turn onto the road they're indicating to. Need a haircut so bad. Yeah, ciao for now.